Okay, there's the hole where the radiator came out of. This fan was stuck in there behind the radiator, and that made it almost impossible to reach down to the bottom to loosen up the fittings and get it out of there. But I was able to unbolt the fan. It's got two screws that go here in the bottom, and you'll notice that they're notched, so you should be able to loosen these and just lift it right out. That'd been something that would have been good to know before I wrestled bolts out of it by hand, but a forgiving design feature that they have is that there's a hole in that fan down there which allows you to get your hand up in there so that you can reach those two bolts. So somebody at the Honda factory was thinking. Thank you for that. I lifted off a little air vent doohickey over there, and I pulled the water reservoir out. It just sits in that little holder and slides right out. Then I was able to reach down to the bottom, undo my hose and my two, this is an automatic, so it's got radiator cooler tubes, and I was able to get them loose. The last guys that put one on there put little screw clamps on there, so that's workable. Anyway, here's my new one. Pretty much all I have to do is take a little rubber grommets off the bottom of that one, set this one over in there, and connect those two radiator coolant lines right there, connect my water hose down at the bottom there and at the top, and then set up my overflow vent, bolt that in place, and then bolt that, slip that fan back down into place, and we'll be done with that. I am debating over whether or not to put antifreeze in this before I decide whether or not I'm going to be replacing the water pump. I went online and looked up the information on replacing the water pump, and it looks like it's quite involved. You know, I find this a lot on foreign cars. You go and look in a manual, it's like, how do I get the water pump off? And the first thing it tells you is take the front left tire off. Well, anytime it says something like that, I think, oh man. And then it says remove the alternator, remove the power steering pump, take the front of the engine off, and I'm thinking, dang, I'm thinking. But I don't know, I'm going to consider that. I'm not even sure it is the water pump is bad yet, but I'll go ahead and put this other radiator in there and get everything bolted up, and then I can think more on what I want to do next. I did curl the transmission lines up so fluid wouldn't be leaking out of them. Kind of the same idea with these hoses. Just in case there's some antifreeze in the motor, I just sort of curled them around to try to keep what I had in there. I'll piece it all back together, and then I'll think on these things some more.